Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be talking about Cavs Celtics last night, one of the more hyped up regular season matchups, the NBA Cup. You know, the 15-0 Cavs, the reigning champ Celtics, something we don't see that often. And we're going to talk about last night's game here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. We are very, very close to 800 subscribers. We're right there, very close. So if you do like the content, hit the subscribe button. Mean a whole lot. Link to my Twitters, all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So last night we got a matchup, the Cavaliers and the Celtics. The Cavs started the season 15-0, the second best record in NBA history to start a year, and you have the reigning champion Boston Celtics for the NBA Cup as well. Just couldn't get much more. Very hyped up matchup. Just really cool to see that a game in November, had not, I don't want to say that much stakes, but that much kind of hype to it, and that big kind of a game in a moment. And also kind of felt like the players knew. The Celtics definitely came out with a different energy. The Cavs definitely had both teams definitely knew, like, okay, this is a little bit more than a regular season game. It's still a regular season game, but it meant a little bit. But at the end of the day, the Celtics ended up winning 120 to 117. It was a really, really solid game. The first quarter was very, very close. Both teams didn't shoot the ball super well. Cleveland was 0 for 6 from 3 in the first quarter. They shot 8 for 23. Boston was 10 for 24, but they hit 5 threes in that quarter. Al Horford hit 2. Tatum had a really good start to this game. We get to the second quarter, and like the last maybe like 3 or 4 minutes of the second quarter, that's when Boston kind of takes over. They shot 14 for 21 in that second quarter, 9 for 11 from 3. Tatum hit 3 threes. Jaylen Brown hit a 3. Horford had 6 points. Derek White hit 2 threes. Payton Pritchard hit 2 threes. And the Cavs still were not, the star players were not shooting well. In the first half, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell combined to shoot 6 for 27 from the field and 1 for 8 from 3. For the Celtics, Jason Tatum at 17 in the first half was 4 for 4 from 3. He was amazing in that game. But then we get to the third. Boston hits a couple shots to start the third, and it looked like the gap was widening. But then the Cavaliers fight back. The Cavs put up 40 in the third quarter. They shoot 65% from the field, hit 3 threes, win the rebounding battle, got 13 assists in that quarter, forced 4 turnovers while not having a turnover in that quarter. Evan Mobley has 14 in the third quarter. He was just dominating the paint inside. He hit a 3-pointer as well. Sam Merrill hit 2 threes. And all of a sudden, it was a close game. And the fourth quarter was actually a really close game. The Cavs got it to 2 multiple times throughout that fourth quarter. Donovan Mitchell put up 18 points in the fourth quarter, 18 of the 29 Cavalier points. They hit 3 threes. But the Boston Celtics really just kind of ended it. Jason Tatum getting to the rim, getting to the paint. Derek White hit a huge 3-pointer. Payton Pritchard hit a big 3-pointer in transition that made it a 7-point game. Jaylen Brown got to the paint and hit a couple mid-range shots. And the Cavs just didn't have an answer really for it. And the Celtics end up winning this game. The final stats, Jason Tatum, 33, 12, and 7, shot 6 for 10 from 3, continuing his MVP-type season. That was an MVP-type performance last night. Just hitting so many huge shots, so many backbreaker-type shots to end the half in the fourth quarter, just all of it. He was passing the ball, he was rebounding the ball, just everything was going well for Jason Tatum. Had one of those performances. Al Horford had a really nice game, 20 points, hit 4 threes. He was a plus 18, the highest plus-minus in this game. He had a couple big 3 blocks. He had a couple blocks on Darius Garland getting to the rim. Like, he was still show how good he is defensively. Derek White, 19, 6 and 5, just doing Derek White things. He had 4 3-pointers as well in this game. Jaylen Brown gave you 17 points, 8 assists. Even though he only shot 7 for 17, wasn't really a huge factor in this game, but hit a couple shots when he needed to. Payton Pritchard continuing his 6th man of the year type season, 13 points, he had 3 threes. And Jrue Holiday at 11, 5, and 4, he had 3 threes as well. The team, they shot 53% from 3, 22 for 41 from 3, 51% from the field. They won the rebounding battle slightly. They won the assist battle slightly. And yeah, I mean, the Celtics just are the better team at the end of the day. I feel like this was kind of like a reminder to everybody that, hey, we're the Boston Celtics. We're the reigning champs. I don't know if you remember us, but hey, what's up? And they had one of those type of games. They did give up a 20-something point lead and let the Cavaliers come back and make it a 2-point game, but they also executed at the end of the game. The last 4 minutes, I want to say, the Celtics took over. They show why they were a championship team. When you had Jason Tatum getting to the rim and getting shots. You had Al Horford making defensive plays. You had Jrue Holiday making defensive plays. Payton Pritchard hitting shots. Derek White hitting shots. Just everything was going well for the Boston Celtics in that late stretch, and they executed. They executed. They closed out the game. They shot the lights out from three. I mean, 53% from three on that many attempts is insane. I mean, I literally thought they were going to hit 30-something threes in this game. It looked like it. They slowed down a little bit, but they picked it back up at the end. And yeah, the Boston Celtics is just showing that they are the reigning champs and that they are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. They really are. You know, they lost a couple games here and there. They're 12-3. They don't have the best record in the Eastern Conference, but man, you still have to respect them. You still really have to respect them. And they just, I mean, just everything works. It's like this team is, I feel like, better than last year's team, honestly, which is crazy because they have the same players. But it just feels like this year's team is just better. Jason Tatum is coming out with an MVP like season, MVP type of approach. Jaylen Brown looks more, calm and looks better, honestly. Yeah, you definitely tell, he came in with a vengeance. Al Horford at 38 years old, or however, 37, 38 years old, still looks like he could contribute in many ways. Jrue Holiday is just the ultimate winning player. Dick White is the best role player in the league. Payne Pritchard is having a 6-man of the year season. Even got Sam Hauser who's in a funk right now, but when he gets hot, he can be a 40-something% shooter. Neemias Queta is giving them some solid minutes. Didn't have a great game last night, but when he can play, when he comes in, he's a big body that can, do some things. And also, by the way, they have a 7'3", 20-point per game scorer. That's just, on the bench in a suit right now. Like it still is mind blowing to me that they have Kristaps Porzingis just waiting in the wings for whenever he's ready. Just throw him into the lineup, and you have another 20-point per game all-star 7'3" guy in there. It's just it's this team is just really really good right now. For the Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell gave you 35, had a slow start, but eventually ended up doing his thing. Evan Mobley gave you 22, 11, and 6. He's continuing. He's having an amazing season so far. The bench has some good moments. I mean, the Cavaliers also did not have Isaac Okoro, Karis LeVert, and Dean Wade in this game. Two wing stoppers, and Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, two of their best perimeter defenders, and then Karis LeVert, who's another 6-man of the year contender. But their bench, all had double digit. George Niang gave you 11 points. Ty Jerome gave you 10 and 5. Craig Porter Jr. gave you 15 and hit 3 threes. Couldn't really ask for much more for those three. Darius Garland was the one that had the rough night. 3 for 21, 0 for 6 from 3, 8 points, -9. Just a really bad game from Darius Garland. On shots that he usually hits. Like that pull-up mid-range shot is usually a shot he makes. Couldn't hit it. 3-pointers, couldn't make them. Got to the rim. Layups, Al Horford got a couple blocks on them, but he just was a little bit off. It was a really rough night. A really rough night for Darius Garland, which really sucks because he's been having such an amazing all-star type season, and for his national TV game to be a stinker, it really, really sucks for him, but I'm sure he's going to bounce back. Just the Cavs were very depleted in this game. Again, not undergoing. Max Strus still has not played yet this year. Missing two of their better perimeter defenders could have helped a lot. Missing Karis LeVert, who's a 6-man of the year, and easy to give you 10 to 15, maybe even have a pop-off game because against Boston, he does have some good games against Boston. Missing a lot, but, no excuses. They still lost. Still have a good team, still ended up losing the game. But I'm proud of this team for fighting back and making it a competitive game. They were down 20 early in the third quarter. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell were having rough nights, and it looked like they could have just kind of folded and been like, hey, you know what? We lost. They're the better team. Let's just, do our thing. But they stayed in it. They fought back. They played some really good defense, forced some turnovers, shots started to fall, and made it a competitive game. It got down to literally the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, which is all you can ask when you're down 20 and making it just a competitive game at the end. That's just all you can ask for. Obviously you want to win the game when you're that close, but, to fight back and to make it kind of like a competitive game instead of just getting run out the gym is just really, proud of the Cavaliers team for doing that. And they're a legit, really good team. Again, they were depleted today. One of their star players had a really, really rough night, and yet they still only lost by 3 points. So like that, that's you have to applaud that for the Cavaliers. They played a really good game. Evan Mobley, again, I'm just so impressed. And I love what I've been seeing from Evan Mobley this year. Like the way he's just been able to attack the paint, attack smaller matchups, confidently shoot the ball, confidently bring the ball up the court. Just is great. Donovan Mitchell is still elite. Even though he had a rough start, but he still ended up finishing with 35 points. And how many? I think he had, 22 in the second half. He was really good. Jared Allen had a solid game, 10 and 11. Sam Merrill gave you 2 threes early in the third, but that's really all he did. He was competing defensively, though. He's the guy that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum kept trying to, exploit him, and sometimes they score because it's Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They're gonna do that. But Sam Merrill held his own. I was really impressed by that. Everybody on this team really, like, they definitely try to go after Sam Merrill. They try to go after Craig Porter Jr. Try to go after George Niang, but they held their own defensively. They competed. Of course they scored on them sometimes because they do that. They're all stars, superstar players. But they held their own. I was really impressed by that. But yeah, a really solid game. A game that looked like it was going to be kind of a blowout turned into a really competitive game at the end. Now in the grand scheme, does this game really matter? Not really. When they get to the playoffs, they're not going to remember this November game and be like, "Oh shoot, I remember how." Like, it honestly doesn't really matter at the end of the day. At the regular season, it's just kind of a test, kind of a gauge, just to see, all right, where are we at? Where are we at? Where can we get better? How good are we actually? That type of game. And Cleveland didn't pass the test with flying colors, but still played a good game. And the Boston Celtics, showed everybody, hey, we're still the Boston Celtics. Do you not remember what we did last year? Yeah. I guess it mattered for if you want to win the NBA Cup. I guess both these teams are 1-1 now in the NBA Cup. So I guess that it mattered that point, in terms of point differential and, in terms of winning the NBA Cup. But at the end of the day, these two teams have, high expectations. Higher expectations than that, at least. Like, obviously, you want to win the NBA Cup. It's really cool. But the Boston Celtics are trying to repeat. The Cavs are trying to make it go on a run, And, yeah, just really solid game. Definitely could have been better. Definitely could have been a close game throughout the entirety of it. That would have been really nice and would have been fireworks at some point. But, from what where we were going, and where we ended up, I'll take it. I think these two teams play again not too long from now either. I think they play in another week or two. Or maybe this weekend or something like that. I think they play again. So that's going to be interesting. Hopefully the Cavs have more health in that game so we can get to see kind of like, not a full, because the Celtics will never see full with Kristaps Porzingis, but we get a full enough game. Hopefully Darius Garland has a better game than what we saw. But yeah, the Boston Celtics are the Boston Celtics. The Cavs are really good still. 15-1 is still pretty good, and they have a chance to redeem it tonight. They play the Pelicans, so that should be a win. And yeah. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. We helps out a lot. Again, we are very, very close to 800. So liking the content, hit the subscribe button, mean a whole lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.